Greetings, adult collectors. I am Crash the Customizer, and welcome to another custom Transformers showcase. This is my Transformers Legacy Animated Universe Blitzwing. This is definitely one of my all-time favorite characters from Transformers Animated, because just the whole changing the faces thing was like total genius. I loved that concept of the character, and this actually does have that gimmick. So, to rotate the heads around, we have this little Lego assembly here. And this actually figure has quite a bit of Lego pieces on it, but okay. So this here, of course you can see if we can get a focus on the camera. Here we go. So then we have the my favorite face, Random, and we can rotate it this way, and we have Icy Blitzwing, and rotate it again, and then we have Hothead Blitzwing. And this whole assembly is made out of Lego pieces. So this piece here is from the helmet pieces from the Ninjago line, and then we have a Lego stud with a hole, a Lego bar, and this entire head section is made from a Lego minifig head. I just painted all the faces on it. And then it's got a Lego black peg right in here, and then I, of course, actually cut off the top of the minifig head right here, and then kind of drill the hole a little bit bigger so I could stick this in there and allow the rotation. And it is kind of hard to rotate on the actual figure here, so you got to try to get it to work here. There we go. And like I said, Random is definitely my favorite. Now we get the camera to focus here. Focus. There we go. So definitely Random is definitely my favorite. You just like start saying off random things that made no sense. I mean, even saying the Itsy Bitsy Spider to Black Arachnia, which is like just hilarious. So this figure is actually a custom of the Transformers Legacy Armada Starscream, because this figure really kind of had that look. Whenever I saw it, of course, I originally had this as a Robots in Disguise Cyclonus, but it didn't really work for that like I wanted it to. And since I started making the animated ones, I thought, you know what, this might actually be better for a Blitzwing. So that I was able to kind of get this to work a little bit better, and it definitely fits as a Blitzwing rather than a Cyclonus. So this whole section here is one of those Lego Creo things that they made. This was like they used to make, like, whenever they had the tire pieces attach in here and like rotate for the wheel. And then this is an official Lego stud piece I stuck in the middle of there. This whole, of course, hand assembly is like hands I make where they actually pose, so you can close this hand up like a fist. You can have him pointing. Or my favorite pose I like to put him in when I display him is I like to do this. So I think that's just like so hilarious with the whole Random personality. He can do his little dancing that he does. Okay. And then one other thing is that this whole assembly here, these treads I made, are all also Lego pieces. And of course, it has little gears in it, so it does kind of roll, but not really well. So, first we're going to start by putting him into his jet mode. Before we do that, show him off with the other custom Legacy figures I have for animated, where I have Megatron, and we have Lugnut, and that is a great looking team. But we have got to add one more figure. This is be hard to get this guy in shot. He's a little taller. So let's raise up the camera a little bit here. And we're going to move Megatron, and we're going to put Shockwave here. And obviously Shockwave kind of towers over him, but granted, this is a deluxe and this is a leader, so anyway. But I think it definitely scales the best with these, because this you have, let me turn it this way so you kind of get a little more of an actual shot here. So we got the leader and his two loyal henchmen. And that looks incredible to have these three together. And since we don't know if there ever will be any actual Legacy Lugnut or Blitzwing or even Megatron, this is perfect. This just looks amazing. So this is kind of what I'm going to do for my display, having these characters together. So, now we'll get back to Blitzwing here. We're going to get him into his alt modes. Because he's a triple changer, he does have two alt modes. You have your jet mode and your tank mode. So we're going to start by going into the jet mode. And the jet mode transformation is pretty much the same as it was for the Armada Starscream. The only thing is we're not going to flip his hands in because he actually can't flip in anymore. Because I actually used the original hand and this panel piece just kind of sticks like this, and I have the hand just kind of folded like this. And then I just glued in the little hand section. So his hands kind of stick off in vehicle mode, but it don't look all that bad. So we're going to flip the thumb in like this, flip in his fingers, just kind of basically put him like he's about ready to punch something as the hothead maybe. Then what we're going to do is we're going to try to line up the wings with the shoulders like this. We want to basically look just like that. Then what we're going to do is collapse up the arms like this. Just kind of get them collapsed up. Get it to line up correctly. There we go. Yep, it's not lined up there. So basically do that. So we're going to flip out these little sections here. We're going to flip this up. And we got this weird looking thing. I believe they call this a Gerwalk mode. At least that's what I've seen when I watched the tour reviewer MGO. I think this is from Star Wars, but I don't know because I never watched Star Wars. But I've definitely seen a lot of the reviewers I watched do this, and this is kind of funny to have like this jet with these, wings that can be doing this. Anyway, so to get him out of this weird looking mode here, we're going to flip this up. Flip his head down here, so collapse his head. Now his head is still kind of right there. I mean, it's not really hidden. I mean, it's literally just kind of sticking right there, but it definitely covers up to some degree. I mean, you can definitely tell it's a head there, but I mean, it's not like, So what we're going to do is we're going to take his legs. We're going to flip in the heels into the foot. Actually collapse the foot in, and then collapse the leg like this. We need to rotate the tank treads around so that they're kind of more facing on the outside here. And then I did cut a little bit of this out so you can make this go in a little easier, because I did have a problem with that with the original figure. You just having to try to get the foot to go through here. I had a little trouble, so I actually cut a little bit out so there's not much there to catch on. So rotate the tread around here, and then collapse in the foot right there like that. And then here we have him in his jet mode. That's how Blitzwing skills goes all together, and that looks really, really good. Then I got one more comparison. We'll show him with Shockwave. Jet mode. And this is pretty accurate to how I looked in the show. I mean, he did have his treads right here like this. And then I ever got the original figure, and of course buying that now is like outrageous to even purchase. Which really, a lot of the anime figures are kind of expensive these days. So that's kind of why I'm making these Legacy figures, is to actually have Legacy animated characters in my collection, so I can kind of complete the collection, since it's only so far given us Bumblebee and Optimus, which we don't... I know there's going to be a Wasp next year, but there's really no talk about there if there's going to be any more Legacy animated characters, so that's kind of why I'm making these. Is I don't even want to spend the prices they have for... to get them on eBay these days. I mean, just to buy the head for this guy, which I was considering doing before I actually made this Lego assembly, is like $30 just for the head. I mean, like, are you kidding me? So, let's get him into his tank mode here. So get him in tank mode. First thing we're going to do is we're going to unattach his legs. Basically, we're almost putting him back into robot mode to some degree. So we're going to flip this down, and we're going to unattach his wings, flip them back like this. And we're going to collapse this up just like it was in the robot mode here. I'm going to tab it back in and get lined up, and then push these to the side. Then we're going to take this section here, flip the cannons to the front, and then we're going to take the wings and just kind of fold them back like this. Then we're going to take his legs and just kind of collapse them up right here. And it helps to kind of move the arms out of the way like this. Kind of get this to kind of collapse up right there. And get it like that. And then we're going to take the arms and kind of put them like this to kind of hold them up. lined up. Just kind of get things to position, because this is actually a fan-made mode. This obviously is not possible to do with the Legacy Starscream figure, so having to try to do things without actually being able to tab many things in. So I just kind of get it where it's going to be level here. The way to kind of do that is kind of bring up the arms like this. And then just kind of extend the treads up just a little bit on this little Lego peg assembly here. Get things where they stay up. And then here we have him in his tank mode. Now, it really does look kind of odd looking, but granted his tank mode was kind of similar to this. It's really not too bad. I mean, his tank mode didn't really look like a tank I've ever seen. I don't know if it was actually based on an actual tank. I mean, it's kind of... I never recall seeing a tank with double barrels. But, I don't know, I don't think it was actually based on an actual tank. But I could be wrong on that. And I'm sure if anybody knows, they can tell me if it was an actual tank. But, this is definitely the tank mode he transformed into animated. It was just this kind of weird, boxy, double-barreled tank of some sort. And it does kind of roll. It doesn't really roll out that well. These don't really work too well. I mean, if on a different kind of surface, it would kind of work a little better. But on this wood surface, it doesn't really work. It doesn't roll perfectly well. But, I mean, a lot of tank figures usually don't. Most tank figures just have molded tank treads and then has wheels on the bottom. So, it's definitely a step up to actually have actual tank treads, even though they don't really work. And you can kind of push them along, I guess. So, now we're going to put him with his other animated figures. You can see how they line up. So, here's how he scales with Megatron in his tank mode. And, of course, obviously, he should be a little smaller than his leader, so that does work. And then we'll bring in the other. So move Megatron off to the side here. Here's how he scales with Lugnut. Obviously Lugnut should be a little bigger because he's kind of a very big and beefy bot. And then we'll bring in Shockwave. We never really saw what Blitzwing actually looked like with Shockwave because Blitzwing was captured during the end of the show, so we never really saw these two together. But, I mean, I still think Shockwave would put him a little bigger anyway, so I think it does kind of work, I would say. We'll never really know for sure. But, we'll take Shockwave back out, and then back into robot mode. So getting back in this robot mode, what we're going to do is he basically already is to some degree. This is already still tabbed in, so we basically just take this. Came out okay. So we're going to rotate his legs. So they're like that. We won't pop off. Back there we go. So then we're going to collapse his feet back in. We're going to take this section here and flip out his heel. Same on this side. Come on. There we go. Even with those tabs on the heel, still don't want to pop out very easily. So we're going to take the tread, rotate it around, collapse it back on here, and rotate around, collapse it in, and then basically you just bring down his arms. You gotta get these out of the way so they'll make his arms rotate here. Bring down his arms, gotta get them where they're facing like this. And just kind of collapse this piece here in. This piece here is supposed to be in. Let's see here, there we go. Collapse that up. Of course, you gotta take your finger in here and push his head section up here. It's kind of hard to do. There we go. Its head sticking up correctly. And then I'm going to open up his hands. And there we have Blitzwing back into his robot mode. This is definitely a figure I feel like turned out really well. I mean, as far as show accuracy, this really does look like Blitzwing. The only thing that really doesn't is the fact that these should probably be angled down a little bit, but I don't know how I can really do that. And I don't really think it's really necessary, because since it is Legacy, it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly like the show. And I don't really think it's really necessary because since it is Legacy, it doesn't have to be, you know, exactly like the show. It does really capture the look of Blitzwing. I mean, this is just like perfect. The fact that I actually was able to figure out how to make the heads rotate really, really takes the cake for this figure. Rotate into hot head. There we go. And like I said, I'll put it back to my favorite, random. This is the one I tend to display it in the most. I display him with the random head, and I'll just said I'll put him like this. Cause like that pose right there, I absolutely love, because this really, really captures the whole personality of random. So yeah, Blitzwing definitely a good character. I really wish they had actually had this character like this in other media. I mean, this is the character I really wish they'd bring back, because the whole concept of having 3 different personalities, I think, is like total genius. I really wish they would have more Blitzwings like this. I know they did make one like figure that did it, but I mean, as far as shows go, I mean, the movie, of course, had just your standard Blitzwing of like just one personality. I really can't think too many shows that really use Blitzwing, really. I really wish they would bring back this Blitzwing in the show, because this is definitely what Blitzwing should be like. Just a crazy 3-personality insane bot, which really works for him pretty well. So I hope you like this custom Transformers showcase. Now, you may have noticed this is the last one on the little presentation at the beginning of the video, but don't worry, I do plan to make some more. I'm going to be kind of sticking with the animated theme for right now. I do actually have plans to do another animated character. I actually still have, well, actually able to purchase the original Prowl, because I didn't like the animated Prowl they made for Legacy, because like I didn't like how the head was bigger than the actual like original figure. I didn't really like that too much. So I do actually have one of the like, original animated Prowl that I modified by kind of painting it a little bit and added fingers like I do. And of course, I mentioned, of course, I had the Optimus Prime. I did make some modifications to it and the Bumblebee. And so I do have one other figure from the animated line that I kind of want to make as a surprise, so I'm not going to talk about that one. So I do plan to make more figures like this. And I also, of course, have Transformers Prime figures. And I have some Robots in Disguise ones that I've modified and made customs of. So we'll be showing those off. So be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and check out the other videos I've made from the Transformers Animated line. And until next time, this is Cresta Customizer, out. Surrender, Decepticon. The name is Blitzwing, and don't you forget it.
I want to see you turn into a fire truck. Can I? Oh, can I?
Oh, alright. Are you happy now? Very. You tricked me. Well, I am a Decepticon. Yeah, I guess I should have seen this coming. Yes, you should have.
Now I can make you into a snoop.